morning students. So now we'll discuss the RTP of November 2022, CA Inter Group 1, second paper, Corporate and Other Laws. So we'll discuss the amendments. Thereafter we'll see the questions given in the RTP. So the first amendment is relating to time limit for rectification of name in case of infringement of trademark. Time limit for rectification of name in case of infringement of trademark. Section 16, rectification of name. Section 16, rectification of name. Okay, in case of infringement of trademark, infringement means unauthorized use. Infringement means unauthorized use. In case of infringement of trademark, earlier the time limit is 6 months. Earlier the time limit is 6 months. Now they have made it as a 3 months. Okay, now they have made it as a 3 months. That is the only amendment. No much complicated thing. Very simple. 6 months has been reduced to 3 months. Okay. In case of infringement of trademark, earlier a company has to rectify its name within 6 months from the date of central government order. Now the company has to rectify its name within 3 months from the date of central government order. That is one thing. If the company fails to rectify, the central government shall allot a new name to the company and ROC will issue a fresh certificate of incorporation. Thereafter, company has an option to change its name. Okay, so first point, infringement of trademark, company has to rectify within 3 months from the date of central government. If not rectified, central government shall allot a new name, ROC will issue a fresh certificate of incorporation. Company has an option to change its name by following the procedure prescribed under section 13. Okay, so infringement of trademark, central government order to the company to rectify the name. Okay, central government order to the company to rectify the name. Central government order to the company to rectify the name. Okay, if rectified. So when the company has to rectify 3 months from the date of central government order. 3 months from the date of central government order. If not rectified. So if the name is not rectified, central government shall allot a new name. Okay, so fresh certificate of incorporation will be issued. So ROC will issue fresh certificate of incorporation. Company can change its name. Company can change its name under section 13. Company has an option to change its name by following the procedure given under section 13. Okay, this is the consequences. Infringement of trademark, central government order to the company to rectify the name. If rectified, company can rectify within 3 months of central government order. If not rectified, central government shall allot a new name to the company. ROC will issue a fresh certificate of incorporation. Company can change its name under section 13. Okay, right. Next, that is one amendment. And second amendment, registration of charges. Okay, so certain loans has been excluded from the requirement of registration of charges. Nothing contained in this rule shall apply to any charge required to be created or modified by a banking company in favor of the Reserve Bank of India when any loan or advance has been made to it under section 17 of the RBI Act. So this is a newly inserted sub rule. So under this rule, if the bank has taken any loan created or modified by a banking company, so loan charge is created or modified by a banking company in favor of RBI. Charge is created or modified by a banking company in favor of RBI. That need not be registered. Okay. So these are certain information which shall not be given to any member for inspection. The following particulars of the register or index are written in respect of the members of a company shall not be made available for any inspection or taking extracts or copies. Okay, namely address or registered office, email ID, address or registered address, email ID, and next unique identification number and PAN number. So these details of one member will not be given to another member. So normally, so a register of members is open for inspection, but out of the register of members, these particulars will be concealed or hidden. That will not be given to any person, because these are personal details, address, email ID, okay, PAN number. These are personal details that will not be shared for the personal details of one shareholder should not be shared with the other shareholder. Personal details of one shareholder should not be shared with another shareholders. Okay, right. Next, declaration and payment of dividend. Okay. Right. All the shares held by the authority and all the resultant benefit arising out of such shares without any restrictions. So, right, here the concept is that when a shareholder is not claiming dividend for a period of 7 years, the unpaid dividend and the underlying shares relating to the dividend shall be transferred to the Investor Education and Protection Fund. Not only the shares and also any benefits arising out of those shares shall also be transferred to the IPF. Shares unclaimed and also benefits arising out of those shares shall be transferred to the unclaimed account. Okay. Next, these are relating to CSR activities. CSR activities. So, what are permitted CSR activities and what are not permitted CSR activities? In continuation of the circular, it was clarified that CSR spending CSR funds for COVID-19 is an eligible CSR activity. Okay. For creating health infrastructure for COVID care, establishment of medical oxygen generation storage plants, manufacturing and similar activities are eligible for CSR activities. Okay, right. Contribution to specified research and development projects as well as contribution to public funded universities and certain organizations engaged in conducting research and medicine are eligible as CSR activities. So this question is about what are the activities which are eligible for CSR. Spending for CSR funds for creating, clarified that spending of CSR funds for COVID-19 is an eligible CSR activity. This is first thing. And spending of CSR funds for healthcare infrastructure, establishment, equipment and all such activities are eligible, are treated as CSR activities. That means all COVID related expenditure is eligible to be counted as a CSR activity. And not only that, contribution to specified research and development projects, contribution to specified research and development projects, they are also be eligible as CSR expenditure. Contribution to specified research and development projects are eligible to be counted as a CSR activity. Okay, the companies including government companies may undertake the activities or projects or programs using CSR funds directly by themselves or in collaboration. Okay, so government companies, other companies and government companies may undertake the CSR activities directly or in collaboration with other companies. Okay, the programs using CSR funds directly by themselves or in collaboration with other companies. CSR amount can be spent by the companies directly or in collaboration with other companies. CSR funds can be spent by the company directly or in collaboration with other companies. Okay. COVID-19 vaccination for persons other than employees and their families is eligible CSR activity. Not only for employees and their families, for other persons also it is treated as a eligible CSR activity. Okay, spending of CSR funds, vaccination for persons other than employees and their families is an eligible CSR activity. Okay, next. So that means spending for employees and their relatives is not a CSR activity. Spending for persons other than employees and their families is an eligible CSR activity. Okay. Next, so this is a CSR registration. This is a CSR registration for the government database purpose. They have mandated CSR registration. Every company which is covered under section 135, which is required to spend CSR and which is required to constitute a CSR committee, shall furnish a corporate social report on corporate social responsibility to the ROC for the preceding financial year and onwards as an addendum to form AOC or AO4 XBRL or AOC NBFC as the case may be. So along with filing financial statements, AOC means company's accounts rules. AOC means company's account rules. Along with filing of financial statements, a report on CSR activity shall also be filed with the ROC. So for this financial year 2021, this is completed before 31st March 22, that is completed. So in general, every year along with the financial statements, we have to submit the report on CSR activities also. Okay. So that's all with the amendments. Very few amendments are there. First amendment is related to rectification of name in case of infringement of trademark, and the second amendment is relating to charges created by banking company in favor of RBI, and another one is related to certain particulars which are not available for inspection, and Another one is transfer of shares and the resultant benefits to the IEPF and the eligible CSR activities. And the last one, CSR report on CSR activities to be filed along with the financial statements. Okay, great. This is a case law case law based MCQs. Shree Ties Limited is an unlisted public limited company. The company's accounts for the financial year ending on 31st March 2022 were finalized and audited by the statutory auditor. The meeting of the board of directors was convened and approved the financial accounts of the company and proposed to convene the AGM of the shareholders on Thursday, the 25th August 2022 at 10 a.m. The total number of members is 3,500. The articles of the company provides that the quorum for the general meeting of the shareholders shall be at least 50 members. On the day of the meeting, only 10 members were physically present. Even after waiting of 13 minutes, the quorum was not present. Accordingly, the meeting was adjourned. Okay, next. According to the provisions, the meeting shall adjourn to the same day in the next week at the same time and place. However, on the same day in the next week, on Thursday, the 1st September 2022, the same venue was available from 3 p.m. only. The board agreed to conduct the meeting from 3 p.m. and all the members were informed individually and also published it in the newspapers. The adjourned meeting started at 3 p.m. The quorum required as per the articles was 50. However, 75 members were present. Out of 75 attending the meeting, 25 were having the residence near the venue of the AGM and rest of the members were staying far away. Due to heavy rainfall and scarce availability of public transportation, 40% left the meeting so that they can reach home on time. By that time, only the ordinary business resolutions were approved and 2 special business agendas were pending for approval by the members. In the light of the given facts, the general meeting of the shareholders was decided to be scheduled, determined by which date the notices to the shareholders should have been given to the members. So notices to the shareholders when the original meeting is conducted. Original meeting is conducted on 25th August. So we have to ignore 25th August. We have to ignore 25th August and how the meeting was. If the notice was sent through post, we have to add 2 days also. Let's just check whether 21 days will be applicable or not. If we calculate 4th August, if the 4th August should have been given to notice, if the 4th August is notice is sent to the members, 4th August we have to ignore because it is the date of posting. 5th and 6th August we have to ignore due to the postal transit time. When the meeting is conducted on 25th, meeting is conducted on 25th also we have to be ignored. So here 4 will be there and 10. So total 18 days. But we need 21 days. Therefore 3 days should be added. 3 days should be added means it's better to send the notice on 1st August. So if you send the notice on 1st August, that will be ignored. 2nd and 3rd will be ignored and 25th will be ignored. Here 4, here 7 and 10. Okay, 7 plus 10, 17 plus 4, 21. So I think if the notice is sent through post, it should be sent on 1st August 2022, on or before. If the notice is sent through email, then 3rd August also possible. If the notice is sent through post, 1st August. If the notice is sent through email, 3rd August. Okay. If the notice is sent through post, 1st August, notice is sent through email, 3rd August. Okay. Let us see what is the answer they have given for the MCQ. Answer C. Because assuming that it is sent through email. Since nothing is given, only when it is given that notice is served by post, then only we have to take 2 postal transit days. Since nothing is given, I think we can take as electronic mail. 2 days postal transit time is not required to be added. 2 days postal transit time is not required to be added. Okay, right. Next, whether adjournment of the general meeting of shareholders of Shree Ties Limited for want of quorum was justified as per the provisions of Companies Act 2013. Since the quorum was not present within 38 minutes from the time appointed for the meeting, it was not justified since the waiting time for the arrival of the requisite quorum is 30 minutes as per the provisions, whereas the decision of the adjournment of the meeting was just taken after 15 minutes. So when the decision of the adjournment was taken, at least on the day of meeting, only 10 members, even after waiting for 30 minutes, the quorum was not present. Accordingly, the meeting was adjourned. That is correct. Quorum was not present, meeting was adjourned. At the given time of meeting, the meeting stands, so there is no requirement of waiting. This is the false statement. This is the correct statement. So we have to wait for only 30 minutes. Within half an hour from the scheduled time of commencement of meeting. Within half an hour from the scheduled time of commencement of meeting, there should be a quorum. What will be the quorum for the general meeting of the shareholders where the number of members is 3,500? So number of members 7 to 1000, the required quorum will be 5. Assuming it is a public company. In case of a private company, 2 only. In case of, since it is a public company we have depends upon the number of members. It is a private company, only 2. Since it is a public company, required quorum is 5. 7 to 1000, 1000 to 5000. That means 1000 to 5000 means 515. This is the point. Okay. Yes, required quorum will be Y required quorum will be A, because if the quorum is if the number of members is between 1000 and 5000, between 1000 and 5000, okay, between 1000 and 5000 it will be 15. I don't know why they have given 5 as the answer. 7 to 1000, 5, and 1001 to 5000 it will be 15, right? Okay, 1001 to 5000 it will be 15. Next, as some members left the meeting, the quorum was not present all the time during the annual general meeting. The agendas for special business transactions remained unapproved. What is your opinion? The quorum once present in the beginning of the meeting is enough. No, false statement. The quorum should be present all the time when the meeting is in progress. Any items which could not be approved by members for want of quorum shall be treated as nil. When the quorum is present at the beginning of the meeting, it may be assumed that all the resolutions have been approved. False. The board may seek special written consent from all the members later on. The answer is false. This is the correct. The quorum should be present at all the times throughout the discussions at the meeting. Okay, just be presence of the quorum at the beginning of the meeting is not sufficient. When the outstanding amount taken for working capital loan has been paid, the bank cannot retain the goods. The bank can retain the goods till all the charges, including the interest, insurance, and other charges, are paid. The bank can retain only portion of goods to cover its dues and may release the rest of the goods. The bank may first release the goods and then, for recovery of its dues, file suit against Yukti. So here the bank can retain only a portion of the goods to cover its dues along with original principal amount and interest, and may release the rest of the goods. It is not necessary to retain whole goods. So whatever is required to settle the dues, that can be retained. Remaining goods can be released. In the given case, Yukti pays all the expenses, including the disputed insurance premium, but the bank insists to clear the personal loan account also. Then only it will release the goods. Determine whether the bank is entitled to so. Okay, the bank has no right to retain the goods pledged with it, since the personal loan was not taken on the security of such goods. Okay, right. So personal loan, when the personal loan has been taken, here we have to say whether it is a particular lien or general lien. Yukti has opened a showroom of electronic goods, okay, refrigerators which are commonly used. Since the electronic items are costly and require heavy investment, she availed a working capital loan from Oakley Bank Limited by pledging the white goods lying in a godown with the bank. The bank put its lock on the godown and whole of white goods were now in possession of the bank. The bank granted a working capital finance of so and so the drawing power. As and when Yukti needs to withdraw some white goods on the godown, she requests the bank deposit the value of the goods to be withdrawn. A godown keeper of the bank comes with her, opens the lock, and Yukti to draw the specified goods on which she has made payment to the bank. The bank got the comprehensive insurance policy, availed another loan from the same bank for her sister's marriage. This was a personal loan, and no security was insisted by the bank. So therefore here the concept is, in case of subsequent advances, if the contract is silent, the bank can retain. In case of subsequent advances, if the contract is silent, the bank can retain the pledged goods. Okay. Next, Yukti disputed the amount demanded by the bank towards the insurance premium paid by the bank. Yukti emphasized that there was no need to take the insurance policy on the goods pledged because it is an extra burden on the part of the borrower. Identify the correct statement. No. Okay, every bank has a policy to get the security insisted on which it grants a loan. So in this case also, the bank, for the purpose of protection of the goods, took the insurance policy and paid the premium. So the demand of the bank is justified. This is the correct answer. Every goods which is given as a security shall be insured. Next, when Yukti is availing the working capital finance from the bank on the security of white goods by submitting these goods to the custody of the bank, said course of transaction can be termed as a pledge of goods. Okay. A clause that begins with the word notwithstanding anything contained is called non-obstant clause. Next, where a share capital of the company is divided into different classes of shares, the rights attached to the shares of any class may be varied with the consent of the holders of not less than 3/4 of the issued shares of that class. A public company may be formed by 7 or more persons. Public company can be formed by 7 or more persons. Okay, right. Next, look at the descriptive questions. Geeta Private Limited is a startup company. Prabodh has been appointed as accounts manager of Geeta Private Limited. The board meeting for approval of accounts is to be held on so and so, and he has to prepare the financial statements for approval by the board. Referring to section 2 clause 40 of the act, what are the statements that are required to be prepared? Financial statements, profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, notes to accounts, etc. Mr. Aditya has incorporated one person company, Yash was named as a nominee in the memorandum of the said OPC. Now Mr. Aditya, considering the perpetuation of the form of business members desires to appoint ABC Private Limited as a nominee. The answer is false. Only an individual, only a natural person who is that is an individual person, citizen of India, can be appointed as a nominee. Artificial persons cannot be appointed as a nominee. Therefore, the proposal is invalid. Okay. So if these persons are holding demat account, who can vote? Who can vote at the general meeting? The person whose name appears in the registers as a first shareholder. So the person whose name appears first in the register of members can exercise voting rights through electronic voting. In case of joint demat account, the person whose name is reflected first in the register of members. Next. Prabhas Limited is a company having its shares listed on recognized stock exchange. The company has 5,000 members. The annual general meeting is to be held on so and so. As per the provisions of the company, advise the company the remote e-voting period and the time of close of remote e-voting. Okay, since the AGM is 7th September, so remote e-voting shall be conducted for 3 days, at least 3 days before the date of the meeting. Therefore, 5th, 6th and 7th can be the date of meeting. 4, 5 and 6 can be the date of remote e-voting. Therefore, 4th September and close at 5 p.m. on 6th September. So, 4th September to 6th September is the permitted period for remote e-voting. Okay, next. Dhiman Limited is a company incorporated in India. Dhiman Limited is a leading manufacturer of sports shoes. It has many subsidiaries, one of them being Best Shoes Limited, which is based in Morocco. Dhiman Limited is in the process of finalization of the consolidated financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st March 2022. The account section of Dhiman Limited has requested the management of Best Shoes Limited to provide its standalone financial statements to Dhiman Limited. The subsidiary company prepares its financial statements in local language of the country, and the same is provided to the Indian parent company. Further audit of financial statements is not required under the laws of that country. Advise how would Dhiman Limited deal with the consolidation. So first take the financial statements of the foreign subsidiary, convert into a local language and try to convert into Schedule 3 format. If it is not possible to convert into Schedule 3 format, give the reasons now why it is not possible to convert into Schedule 3 format, and it is not necessary to get the audit. Since the audit is not required as per the laws of that country, unaudited financial statements can be presented to the shareholders and unaudited financial statements of the subsidiary can be filed with the ROC. Okay. So, a shareholder of the company who has shares of 10,000. So, if he has a beneficial interest, he will not be eligible to be appointed as a debenture trustee. Any creditor is disqualified. Irrespective of the amount, any creditor is disqualified. A person who has given a guarantee is also disqualified. So, this person depends on the beneficial owner. So, assuming that if he does not have if he has holding beneficial interest, then he will not be eligible. So, all the 3 persons are not eligible for being appointed as a debenture trustee. Okay. State the persons responsible for complying with the process regarding maintenance of books of accounts of a company. So normally the board of directors will give responsibility to any one person to maintain the books of accounts. Okay, so board of directors can give responsibility to these persons: managing director, whole-time director in charge of finance, chief financial officer, any other person delegated by the board. So these persons are responsible for maintenance of books of accounts. These persons are responsible for maintenance of books of accounts. Okay, next. Mr. Govind Ram is a partner and in charge and certifies financial statements of P and Associates. The firm is appointed as an auditor firm of Khanna Limited listed company. Govind Ram retires from P and Associates and after some time joined Gupta and Gupta firm as a partner. In the general meeting of Khanna Limited held on 15 June, the company appointed Gupta and Gupta firm as the next auditor of the company. Advise Khanna Limited whether the company has adhered to the provisions of the Companies Act by appointing Gupta and Gupta as auditor of the company. Okay. Right. Govind Ram is a partner, okay, of P and Associates. The firm is appointed as a auditor of so and so company. Retires from P and after some time joined P and Co. So this Govind Ram is a common partner. Govind Ram is a partner who retired in earlier firm and was joining the new firm. So if he is not in charge of the financial statements in the old firm, then he is eligible in the new firm. But if he is in charge of the financial statements in the old firm, he is not eligible for appointment in the new firm. Okay. If a partner who is in charge of an audit firm and also certify the financial statements retires from the said firm and joins another firm. Therefore, here Mr. Govind Ram retired from P and Associates and thereafter joined Gupta and Gupta Associates. Whether the firm is eligible or not depends upon whether Govind Ram is an in charge of audit firm of P and S Associates and whether he certified the financial statements. If these two conditions are satisfied, then Gupta and Gupta is ineligible. Otherwise, the Gupta and Gupta will be eligible for. Okay. Will also be ineligible for a period of 5 years. So if assuming he was in charge of and was certifies the financial statements, in charge of the firm Okay, in charge and certifies financial statements. It is given in the question. It is given in the question. I have not seen it. Sorry, ma. I have not seen it. No need to take the assumption. It is clearly given in the question. He was in charge of the firm and also certifies the financial statements. Therefore, Gupta and Gupta new firm is also ineligible. And this is relating to mixing of goods, bailment chapter, mixing of goods. If the bailee mixes the bailor's goods with the bailee's own goods without bailor's consent, okay, bailee has to separate. If it is possible to separate, bailee has to pay the expense of separation. If it is not possible to separate, bailee has to pay loss or damage to the bailor. Okay, so bailee mixed the bailor's goods with some other goods. If it is possible to separate, bailee shall pay the separation charges. Okay, if it is not possible to separate, bailee shall bear the total loss or damage for the goods. Okay, like that is mixing of goods. Next, this is a bill of exchange. Okay, it's a very old question. So nobody can the person who prepared the instrument drawer and an acceptor for the honor of the drawer and an acceptor for the honor of the drawer, they cannot deny that when the instrument is originally made, it is invalid. So who cannot deny what with whom? Holder in due, drawer or acceptor for honor for the honor of the drawer cannot argue with the holder in due course that when the instrument is prepared originally, it is invalid. Original validity of the instrument cannot be denied. Original validity of the instrument cannot be denied by the drawer and also acceptor for the honor of the drawer. And also acceptor for the honor of the drawer. This is relating to a repeal and reenactment. Companies Act 1956 is repealed and in that place Companies Act 2013 is inserted. Therefore, in any central act, wherever you see the reference called as Companies Act 1956, you have to read it as a Companies Act 2013. Therefore, wherever you see section 25 of the Companies Act 1956, whether in the Income Tax Act or SEBI Act, etc., wherever you see Companies Act 1956 section 25, we have to assume it as a section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. Because logically 1956 Act is repealed. Therefore, similar concept, section 25 of Companies Act 1956 deals with the charitable companies. Similarly, section 8 of the Companies Act 2013 deals with the charitable companies. Therefore, wherever we see section 25 of Companies Act 1956, we have to read it as a section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. Okay, so how will you interpret the definitions means? The definitions which starts with the words means is exhaustive definition or restrictive definition. Nothing can be included in that. Whereas the definitions which starts with the words includes is an extensive definition. Something can be added. What is given in those sections is only examples. You can add something to that. Okay, right. So in case of Companies Act, the definition of company starts with the words means. Company means a company incorporated under Companies Act 2013 or under any previous company law. Body corporate includes company incorporated outside India. Therefore, means includes. So what is means and what is includes. Okay, right. So that's all with this RTP. Okay, please go through the amendments and the questions. There is a chance of repeating some 1 or 2 questions from the RTP in the main exam. So therefore, be careful. Most probably in the NI Act, you can expect this question. You can expect this question to be repeated. Okay, right. Thank you.